Thank you all so much for your patience. We are back with more Mega Man action. Uh, just a quick reminder to everybody that we at Slurpathon are raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. We've actually got a good collection of incentives going on right now. If I can look here, it looks like we're still trying to work towards getting that special stage in Nezumi Man. We are at 37.36, so we need a chunk less than $70 more to be able to reach that. Wait, no, there were some donations before that was last day. I think we're getting close. We do need some more donations to make sure that happens. On top of that, there's Soulless Dreams and Kill Boss of Faith stage as another incentive that we're working towards, as well as Prince of Persia's bid war between the regular or Sargon skin, and lastly, Unsighted for the Robot Apocalypse. With that all said, Dave, I think we've got a fantastic run here that you're wanting to show off. Why don't you tell us
Possibly.
about it?
Yeah, no, I am absolutely not known for Mega Man, so it's kind of funny that Slurpee accepted this one. I run a lot of stuff at this point, but not Mega Man. So, but this is a cool one, and I hope that we don't soft lock, because that's the thing that can happen at the very beginning. But yeah, if you are ready, I can count down and do the thing. But
I think everything is go. If you want to get the countdown, you want to get your timer running and get that race going, I'll be cheering you on.
cool. Right, so we can say 3, 2, 1, go. So this is a cool one, only because it's literally the OG. So it's literally the very first Mega Man that was ever created. And it's kind of funny because if you look up the box art, like, he's just got a gun. So that's the best part, I think. It's where we get like bad box art Mega Man from with Capcom in later years. So we start off in Cutman. We don't usually start off with Cutman, but there is a glitch that you can end up doing in this game. You'll see it in Elecman, which is the next stage. And after you do that, you can basically kind of clip through this wall and collect a magnet beam early. And this is technically 90% all stages. So we will use that magnet beam to zip through stuff, provided we don't soft lock. It's multiple frame perfect inputs, and that jump is kind of lousy. So, but yeah, it's kind of a dumb thing, but there's not a whole lot going on in Cutman. So if you have actually anything that you want to say before we kind of get into the run, I know you just kind of said that, but if you have anything else, feel free to.
The Deadly Cutsman.
Yeah, no, Cutman is like probably the most boring stage, and there's not a whole lot that goes on in terms of, I guess, like tech and stuff in this one. So
Let me see. I can tell everybody about some things that we kind of do with the money that gets raised. Those funds go to any funds raised go to the Alberta Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. This means the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars raised make the biggest impact possible. They get to put that money wherever they want. Do they need certain machines? Do they need amenities? Does the break room need a little bit of love and support? They have the ability to choose that, where a lot of other donations that they might receive would not be necessarily as freeing for them. So it's really nice to be able to raise this money and help them put it towards things that they really, really need.
nope, and it's a good cause too. I'm actually from Edmonton, so we're right, well, not across
nice.
the street from Calgary, but very close to.
I'm stuck in the middle of the two.
Oh, like Red Deer?
Yeah.
Or... there you go. It's kind of funny. That's close enough. That's more local than I am, so. Alright, the only terrifying thing is this menu. All the menus, actually, you can't really exit. That didn't exist in Mega Man 1, so if you enter a stage, you have to game over. At least if you're in a stage, rather, that you don't belong in yet. So this is Elecman, and you can see there's kind of like a damage cancel thing that we do, where if you take a hit, you can actually pause and make sure that Mega Man gets like out of that animation. But coming up here is kind of, well, actually not yet, but this is what we were talking about, and you can soft lock in this stage, so it's great. So we will try not to do that. I use this ladder to practice sometimes, which foreshadowing that went bad. It's a 1-frame window to like, wait. It's a 1-frame window to like shoot and push down on the ladder at the same time to get Mega Man into like this weird state. And once he's in that weird state, you can kind of push up to make him zip through the ceiling, which is coming up. And then you can jump and basically, again, enter this magnet beam area early. So we get the magnet beam. This is really the only kind of scary part of the run because there's literally no fixing if you mess it up. You just soft lock, so. This is 1 frame. Okay, that went extraordinarily well. There's 2 1-frame inputs there and 2 4-frame inputs, so we'll take that. That was really good.
Nicely done.
Thank you. That's like the only real scary part of this one. We will absolutely take that. Sure! But how did that happen? But we'll also take that, I guess. That's always interesting. You know, you get the hard things, but then the easy things, whatever, right? So yeah, the reason, sure, like, okay, we're just gonna fall down this ladder for the rest of our life. So the thing about the magnet beam and why we collect it early is it's basically associated to, okay, we're actually gonna die or something. It's basically associated to like multiple zip setups in this game. So we really want to get the magnet beam early. That allows us to do all kinds of stuff actually. And this game is basically extremely broken. I have to like magnet beam very awkwardly over this guy. He does a huge amount of damage, so otherwise I would have been killed there. I think he almost takes like 1/3 of your health if he hits you. He actually does an exceedingly high amount of like contact damage. So coming up here is Elecman, and he's pretty easy. His weakness is Cutman, which I never really understood. I feel if you like took metal to a bunch of wires, like I don't think that has an advantage over anything. But apparently in this game it does, so I won't question the logic behind that.
I mean, it probably causes some short-circuiting, or I mean, the wires are away from anybody, so they could be electrically charged for all anybody cares, and they can't shock anybody.
No, that is true. I mean, you could come out on top. Yeah, we enter Iceman. Iceman is kind of where you'll start seeing the zips. The zips are pixel perfect actually, or 1 pixel, so they're a pretty tight window. But there's depending. Oh yeah, we spawned a whole bunch of lag there, which is great. So depending how you set up the zips, there is buffers for the zips, and there's also something that's reoccurring, and it's literally called Ice Pixel. So, oh, we were like literally 1 pixel too low. That's okay, because you can zip up there too. But the thing that's called Ice Pixel, actually there's 1 pixel right there. So we got that first try, which is always kind of tricky, but that's a manual 1 pixel placement. And there's not really a great way to do that. It's just like muscle memory forever. Like you gotta do that over and over and over and over again. So it's kind of interesting. But there's also another one coming up here, which you missed. You can line up that beam with the cloud to visually see if you can go for the next one or not. And then in every corridor in Mega Man, there's also something called quarter zips. So once we get into the corridor, they're a 1-frame input, and you can use it to zip kind of forward, which I'm sort of okay at sometimes. Not all the time though. So that went really well. Those are both 1-frame windows, so I'll take that. And you'll start to see another bug that's going to be very prevalent here is the enemies don't have iframes if you pause. So we can pause multiple times to kill them really quickly like that. So Iceman is like one of the more technical stages, and it leads into Fireman. Fireman is also kind of obnoxiously technical too, and then the rest of the game isn't too rough. But I'd say back to back, like this is kind of like your biggest reset point. Because you start zipping a lot here in theory as well for Fireman. Oop. Oh man. There you go. So I'm actually gonna skip a zip here because I wasted some meter there. And I'm also going to skip using meter to get up here, because otherwise I will not have enough for some future zip stuff. So here is also... Okay, got that one. And there's kind of a scary one coming up. All these zips for the most part share something in common, where you can't die, but this one you can. So there's only 2 zips in the entire game that you can die if you mess them up. And one is right here. Okay, well apparently we get to take the long way because we overjumped it somehow. So that's always great. But I guess we didn't die, so that's an upside. And there's another one in Wily's, I guess, like castle fortress thing that also you can die if you mess that one up. Okay, guy, can you get out of my face, please? Actually, I don't know why I switched to ice, really, because I could have used magnet beam here for the corridor zips as well, or whatever. So I guess that's partial W. Like, wasn't the worst Fireman, but wasn't the greatest either. And yeah, same thing for Fireman. He is weak to ice, so we're going to massively pause and kill him that way. But it was really cool watching Slurpy Ninja do both 10 and 9, but specifically like with weapons, because the weapon swapping is so good in that game. So we'll go all the way back here. We're gonna pick Bombman. Bombman also has a fairly big zip in here too. And these screw things are partially RNG. That would have been God RNG. That's so funny that there was like 2 massive like energy refills there. You really want that like towards the end of the game. But sure. I don't know what the exact drop rate is for them, but they're pretty low. So we'll try not to waste the meter coming up here too. I think you can do like 6 of these things, but there's a guy named Sniper Joe, and he is easily the worst enemy. Okay, I'm gonna go like this. He's literally the worst enemy. So that's okay. He won. Sniper Joe is such...
he really just wanted a hug. Is that so much to ask?
Yes, he's a jerk. He doesn't deserve it. You know, like, normally I'm okay with that, but no. He's actually a jerk. Jerk-face jerk, actually, if you want to quote The Simpsons. Okay, so we have... Okay, we got lucky. We had just enough meter for that. This saves a substantial amount of time getting that zip, so... Probably the hardest zip in the game, but not if you set it up that way. In my opinion, anyway. If you do like the pixel setup or whatever, it's pretty rough. Yeah, it's like... Outrun that Sniper Joe, it's actually multiple 1-frame windows. And then... like, it's kind of weird to explain, but yeah. He's extremely annoying and persistent, and he's like the only enemy in the entire game that can basically like chase you down from like where he spawns until the end of the screen where that ladder is. And he'll do it every single time, so... Yeah, we're entering Gutsman. Gutsman, probably one of the shorter stages. So the only kind of tricky part is right here, so I'll shut up for a second. So, okay, there we go. You just have to land on that platform in a very specific way, otherwise you'll fall through or you'll spawn it too early. Nice, we jumped into that thing's face. Not intentional. But yeah, this is a really short stage, and not a whole lot happens here. We're basically almost done. So you take a hit. I always pause like 1 frame early on that. You're supposed to like run into that guy and then pause, but I always pause right before I run into him. Yeah, we're basically done Guts Mount already, so very short stage, not a whole lot happens here. I guess Capcom expected people to die a little bit more. We hit 4 corridor zips out of 4. I'll take that. So this dude is one of the most... Okay, I'll take it. That wasn't the best kill, but he didn't jump around like a maniac, so that's all that matters. But yeah, he can jump around and he can be extremely annoying, so we'll take that. That definitely wasn't the worst. So we're entering Dr. Wily. Dr. Wily has, I guess, like the second last zip in the game when it comes to Magna Beam. And this is another one that, I don't know why, if you do it wrong, you can also get killed. So we'll try not to get killed. But the only kind of like thing that you need to do is like when you set up for the zip, you just have to like wait a second before you actually start zipping. So you lose a lot of health at the beginning of this level. There's like these 2, you can see how much damage these things are taking, but there's like basically like 2 forced damage boosts there. Okay, got that.
Yeah, those things hit hard enough that they could kill you in 3 hits.
Yep, I believe so. Like they're the most damage in the entire game. Plus, usually you get hit coming up here too, so you're left within 1 shot for the boss. That spring thing didn't kill me this time, so I guess I'll take it, but not always the case. The weird thing, there's a couple weird things, well, there's actually many weird things about this game. I'll let myself drop here, but I was gonna say one thing that is, I think they changed it in almost all of the classic Mega Man games, is nice. And that's exactly why we picked that up. Okay, so now we're kind of in trouble for later. But I was gonna say, the one thing that's kind of weird about like the classic Mega Man games is you don't actually refill Magnet Beam between stages. And you don't have iframes also if you fall into spikes. While you have iframes, that's another kind of like weird thing in Mega Man 1. If you're in a state of iframes and you fall into the spikes, you just die. So they changed that in like every subsequent Mega Man. Okay, we paused wickedly early. There we go. Please, sir. Okay, we get a T-cycle. We're full. So in Wily 2, we're gonna have to collect some extra like Magnet Beam because there basically is like a couple of really big zips coming up too. But you don't get magnet refills here, so that's great. Everything else gets refilled, but not Magnet Beam for some unknown reason. So, depending what drops here, so that was points, which is unfortunate. Sometimes you get drops like that, but with like obviously bigger. We'll take that, I guess. Oop. We're pausing. Okay. Every pause menu. Didn't mean to do that one, but whatever. So the end not having... So basically you really need Magnet Beam for like the next level. You also need it for Wily 4, but it's not as bad for Wily 4. Because you can farm it if you're missing it in that stage, but you don't have that luxury here. So I don't think that's enough even. Like I actually wasted a lot there, but we'll see. This guy. decided to jump around and be awkward. So I can also take it from here actually. So we might be okay for now. That should be decent enough. There's actually a pretty crazy zip that you can do down here too. Sure, we'll take all the forced health drops. You can skip all these screens, and I would try to go for that in more marathon settings. But that's also a 1-frame window, which isn't bad, but it leads to death. So it's great if you mess it up. But I always like that strat too. So there's a very specific bug that starts on the screen too with the fire shield. So if you shoot the fire shield and as it's going off screen, that's not good. As it's going off screen, we did the reverse boss fight. This is so awkward. So you can spawn like another fire shield, which also makes a huge difference. Because for whatever reason, I guess all your weapon energy, doesn't refill, because fire shield until the end of the game also doesn't refill. So you basically don't want to waste a whole lot of fire shield on this fight, otherwise Wily 4 is going to be a little bit awkward towards the end, so that's a thing. And entering Wily 3, this is where we needed a very specific amount of meter, rather Magna Beam. Well, we have a lot of Magna Beam, never mind, we're okay for the rest of the game. I didn't realize we had like half a bar. But there's a very specific glitch here and setup. Okay, we got it. So we can basically, whatever's happening here with Mega Man, travel through this entire thing and then wind up here. These are 1-frame windows to do dupes, so I'll also shut up for a second here. We basically throw these like rocks. You have a 1-frame window to reproduce another rock. Ooh, man. Ah, we gotta shoot one. So I think we had 3 dupes there. But... thanks, Ultra. And then coming up is Wily 4, which, depending how you do it, is going to be a really short stage or really bad, because there's a couple skips here too. So we're going to climb this extremely long ladder that Wily built, and we're going to take this hit. We're going to allow this thing to hit us, then we're going to switch to electric. And we want to shoot the top one, not the middle one. So, okay. Success! And using that, we can zip like this. That was good. And we can also do like this weird zip right here. And skip all the refights. Nice, okay. So what basically happened is there's supposed to be a bunch of refights there, but if you jump into the bomb as Bomb Man throws the bomb, you can skip everything. So that saves actual minutes. We have to mash in a really weird way to do that. And then we're gonna land here, pick up the fire. Probably didn't need that. You generally need about like half this fire bar or less. So it's not too bad when it comes to Wily. And then that's it. This is Wily, so we just want to jump and trade with him as much as possible. And it is possible that you can die here being stupid, so we'll try not to die being stupid. Oh, we died being stupid. Oh, there we go. We get to fight Wily again, apparently.
Round 2!
Yeah, he wins. But I was gonna say, if you listen to like when Mega Man jumps, right, you can hit 2 to 4 times. So if you keep jumping and hitting 2 times, you're probably going to not win the damage trade. So you really want at least 3 to 4 every single jump here, like this, before you get hit. So there's a lot of 2 hits there last time. Same here again. There was a 3 finally. But yeah, it as long as you do that, you're fine. But it's actually kind of easy to die here if you take a bunch of 2 hits. But there you go. We saved apparently back in time. I don't know how this works chronologically because Slurpee put 9 and 10 before 1, but we traveled back in time and we got rid of Dr. Wily. So
very nicely done. All things considered, you said you weren't feeling too confident. That was an incredibly smooth run there. Like, you managed to pull off a lot of really difficult tricks, and that was really impressive.
I will take that. Like, this is not an easy marathon run. There's a lot that can obviously go wrong with the soft lock, but even again, you know, like, if you mess up the zips, for example, and like Iceman, you're just left. Actually, that's like the worst marathon situation because like you literally have to go through like 2 Yoku block sections, which take forever, and then you're spit out in a spot that you don't have meter for, where the platforms are entirely random in how they move back and forth. So there's like no cycle that you can jump in time, and it's possible that you just die there. So I'm glad nothing weird went wrong outside of obviously like Wily at the very end. But yeah, no, this is a cool one, and it's not exactly very marathon safe. But I just want to say like thank you to Slurpee obviously for accepting it. I run quite a few random things on Twitch at this point. I'm an old man, but not as old as Slurpee apparently, because I think my Twitch account just turned 8 years old. But I've never really run like the classic Mega Man stuff. This was something that I learned relatively recently, so. But thank you, Jeff Akimo, the assassin. Oh, Assassina. And Mimi Man. Yeah, thank you everybody else, and anything else you want to say, it's good, but can switch off or whatever. And again, thank you for having me.
Indeed, I think. Yeah, that was all great. But I'm stumbling, but we've got more things coming up in Slurpathon. The show ain't stumbling like me, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with Nezumi Man.